When the pain of avoiding your past becomes greater than facing it, the journey begins. Strap in, it's going to be a hard, long, tough road. But at the end of it, there are great rewards. It is so difficult giving up an identity. You see, I lived in pain, and I didn't know I was living in pain. As I do the work and I ease my pain and I go into it and I feel it and I grieve it and let it go, there's a part of me that doesn't really want to let it go. You see, there's a part of me that identifies with the painful, brooding artist. You know, the one that doesn't fit in. I looked around my entire life and saw people functioning on a high level and just scratched my head and be like, how did they do it? How is it that they can get through the day so effortlessly? And I'm struggling with everything. I was carrying an immense amount of emotional pain. And that became my identity. See, pain kind of became my companionship. It's where I lived. It's where everything out of me came from. It's where my words came from. It's where this podcast came from. As you do the work and you ease that pain, there's an identity loss. You know, who am I without it? So that's why some of this is so difficult. Not only do we have to leave family systems and friends and relationships, there's a part of us that has to leave ourselves. And that's scary. See, I know that part of me. I am comfortable in that role. I'm comfortable in the victim. I'm comfortable in the pain. I'm comfortable in the hurt and the sadness and the self-hate. I don't know what to do with happiness and joy. Like, I'm just kind of waiting right now for somebody to pull the rug out from under me and go, listen, that's it. You've been joyful and happy enough. We're going back to the old way. And I just know that way so much better. Like, I understand that. I remember the first time I got sober, everything that I did sober for the first time was difficult. I mean, I started taking pills and drinking at the age of 10. I drank for decades. And when I had to strip that away, I didn't know how to do anything sober. The supermarket, those bright lights, all those people, overwhelming and intimidating. Relationships, getting close to somebody, having sex sober for the first time, you know, in mid to late 20s, like that's, all of that is just so difficult. And then you get to a point where you start doing this work and you start to feel better and you're easing your pain and you're releasing it and you're not carrying pounds and pounds of emotional weight and baggage and hurt and struggling just to get through the day. You actually have internal space to just be. But who am I without it? See, there's my identity. I held on to it for so long because I didn't even know it was my identity. That darkness, that sadness, that hurt, yeah, that is warm and comfortable. It's like this great warm comforter that I could just wrap myself around and use as an excuse to never get ahead, to never feel good, to never allow myself any joy. There's going to be so many changes going through this process. It is overwhelming. You peel away a layer, you go through something, you uncover something from your past that you didn't know was there, and you work through it, and you release it. And then there's this lightness there within you. Emotionally, you're lighter, you feel like you're walking taller. Less bothers you, you're triggered less, you're less defensive. But there's also a scariness in that, because when you're walking around with defenses that you've carried your whole life, and all of a sudden they're not there, you have to learn how to protect yourself without your defenses, without your reactions, without your anger, without your hurt. And when those are the only things that protected you and kept you warm and safe, how do you go forward in this world without them? We find new ways. We set boundaries. We set limitations within ourselves, and we set them with other people. See, that emptiness, not having that there. See, I don't have that hurt and that fire. Like that fire that needed to come out of me. Like that was so motivating. When I stopped being a victim and started to become empowered and go into my pain and look into my past and slow down enough for it to catch up to me, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it. It's sitting with it. We cannot get to the finish line without stopping along the way. Take it in small increments. You experience it, you feel it, and then you have to learn how to build real, genuine protection. Not that fake, defensive, I shouldn't say fake, that defensiveness, because that's all we know, that reaction. It's not fake, it's a reaction. Like we don't have to react because we understand who we are. We understand the ways we have been. We understand our hurt and our pain and our betrayal. And we protect ourselves against that. And we don't have to do it by being a walking reaction. You hold yourself tight for a while. See, that's the thing. You want this freedom. You don't want to be that reaction. But you don't want to go into the pain to feel it and experience it and learn how to build strength with it. See, I have all of this hurt, but I have no strength with it. See, it runs me. It is stronger than I am. I have to become stronger than it. I start managing my pain instead of my pain managing me. And that process, that arc that we go through. There's a confusion when, I'll never forget, somebody triggered me and I should have flew off the handle. I felt disrespected, humiliated, violated, and hurt. And I basically shrugged my shoulders and said, all right, I guess that's just how you feel. It felt wrong. It felt wrong not to have that vicious reaction, that pushing back and getting in someone's face when you feel walked on. You see, I didn't have to hold that spot anymore. I didn't have to protect it. I didn't have to push back. I didn't have to deflect and be defensive. I accepted their opinion because I know that part of me. And part of what they said was absolutely dead on accurate. But I knew that. You see, when I didn't know it, consciously, unconsciously, I knew it, but you couldn't know it about me. So when you got close to it, I pushed back. Now you can get close to those places within me, and I'm not going to push back because I'm okay with it. See, it wasn't me. It was my trauma reaction, and I had to learn how to separate from that. We can't go through life being a walking reaction and live authentic. People are entitled to their opinions of you. You may not like it. I get pushback. Not all the emails are fun and light and friendly, I can tell you. But that's a person's opinion, and I rubbed them the wrong way, and I got close to a place that they didn't like. They didn't want me to know, and they pushed back. I don't have to react back. Neither do you. Making peace with the parts of us that we don't want anybody to see, that we keep from ourselves. See, those are the places we go into. I say this, we have to embarrass ourselves to ourselves. See, there's a part of me that's completely embarrassed about the way I am in certain things. I don't want you knowing about it. But if you see it and you bring it to my attention before it's fully conscious in me, I'm going to have a serious reaction. If I see it in me and I make myself okay with it, you can't hurt me with it. So it's getting to know those deep, dark places that we don't want anybody to know about. And we all have them. You see, we live in a fake world. And when you're trying to be authentic, being authentic in a fake world feels shameful. If we could just come out and all just throw our crap on the table and say, I'm a codependent, I have intimacy issues, I have trust issues, I have abandonment issues, I have rage issues, I have sexual issues, I have alcohol issues. Like, we all have issues, but none of us are talking about it. And that's how we heal. We have to discover within ourselves the things that we don't want to know, the things that we don't want others to know. You see, the more we hide and the more we avoid, the more we need to protect. If I'm okay with a part of me, I don't have to use energy to protect it anymore. And there's a peace in that. And when that peace comes, I'm very uncomfortable because peacefulness frightens me, because I've always been on guard. So if I go 20 minutes or 2 hours or 4 hours without feeling like I'm protecting myself or I'm on guard, that feels unsettling to me when I realize. It's like, wait, I haven't been on guard for this long? What happened? Did I miss something? Is everything okay? I don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to do that anymore. There is nothing about you that is not lovable. And the way we heal is we learn to love the things about ourselves that we find unlovable. We have to find out what those things are. I don't love the needy part of me. I don't love the insecure part of me. I don't love the part of me that doesn't feel smart. I don't love the part of me that I don't find attractive. I don't love the reactions. I don't love the embarrassment that I've caused myself because of my addictions and the ways that I tried to defend myself and protect myself. See, those are the places we need to go. We need to start loving them. And it's so difficult because nobody taught us how to love those parts, because those parts weren't lovable to the people who raised us, so we cut them off and we pushed them so far away. We have to get in touch with them. We have to make peace with them. We have to own them. I'm insecure. I am so insecure. I hate that. And I hate saying it, and I hate people knowing it. But if I can own my insecurity, life just gets so much easier. See, that's being vulnerable. And vulnerability is where your strength lies. Being vulnerable is how we build strength. See, I just told you I'm insecure, and I'm really fucking insecure. I know that, and I'm learning how to accept that. And that's being vulnerable with myself, and telling you is being vulnerable with others. So now if you tell me, look at you, you're so insecure, I'd be like, yeah, I really am. And you see the difference? When I don't own it and somebody tells me you're insecure. What do you mean I'm insecure? I'm not insecure. Own the parts of you that you find unlovable. And we do that by finding out what those parts are. And we know it on some level. But we have to dig to get there, because it's really painful to look in that mirror and tell yourself what you don't like about you. Those things you were not loved for. And connection and love for humans is everything. They may tell you it's money, power, status. It's not. That will leave an empty hole in your soul. You have the ability to love all of you. You have the ability to heal yourself. Find out what you don't like about you. Find out why you don't like it. And either accept that you don't like it, or love yourself for it, or both. But you gotta get in there, you gotta dig around, you gotta get your hands dirty, you gotta feel like shit, you gotta feel the worst feelings that you ever could possibly imagine. You're gonna have to relive traumatic events. You're gonna have to relive shaming and humiliation and abandonment. And once you start doing that, you're going to fear it less. And you're going to realize the choices and the decisions and the reactions that you have, why you have them. And then you won't need to have them anymore. And when you are not protecting yourself 24/7 from being seen for who you really are, you really learn how to exhale, and you start to appreciate the smaller things in life. And people ask me, how long does this take? For me, it's the rest of my life. This work will never end, because every time I discover something about me I didn't know, that's less of me I need to protect. And that's more energy for joy, more space for joy. The hard work takes probably 2 to 5 years. And there's going to be ups and downs. And you're going to want to quit. And you're going to hate it. And you're going to want to mood alter. And you want to get out of your feelings. And you want to forget about it. And you want to move in another direction. And there's going to be a part of you that's going to start sabotaging your growth. Because you're going to fall back into other things. When you get to a painful place, you will somehow mood alter. And you won't realize it, sometimes for weeks, months, or years. But eventually you start to catch yourself. And the more you catch yourself when you mood alter and pull it back into the feelings, the faster it goes. But the biggest thing is to be patient and be kind and be understanding. You're doing the most hard work that you could possibly do. You are working on yourself. You see, we don't have the mirrors we need, so we have to become our own mirror. And it's hard when when I look in the mirror, a real mirror and an emotional mirror, I hated what I saw. I was never good enough. And in a lot of ways, I am still not good enough. And the only difference is I don't hate myself anymore for not living up to what I thought I should. Thanks for listening. You can contact me at joeryan.com. Follow me on Instagram at joeryan. And if you want, you can leave us a review on iTunes. That'd be great. All right, take care.